I made a mistake the other day when installing this trim work, and I realized that I put this corner trim on a little too soon, so I'm going to pull that off before we start the siding work. Come on. There it is. All right, trim destalled. And now we can get started on the eaves. We're gonna work on the eaves, get all the soffits boxed in before finishing the siding. So the first thing I have to do up here to get this closed in is level out the soffits. So I'm gonna be cutting a wood strip to run along the back here on the house so that we can level the soffits. I want this to be totally flat on the bottom. So this is what I did, rip these down so that it's at an angle, and this should sit up against the bottom of the rafters and give me a flat bottom. Muscles lifting this drill. Okay, we got our first strip up. It's easy, we're gonna keep going and hopefully get all the wood across the house here. We're installing the last little bit of our soffit box, which is the bird box. Look at this. Cut this long wedge. It goes up on the end, I'll show you. So it goes like this. And creates a square flat level box. With all of this built out, we can go ahead and start cutting our panels. Just when I thought we were getting into the flow, we had to stop to deal with this. This is the bathroom, what do you call it, vent?
Yeah.
Coming out of the house. So I just have to measure out for that. It's pretty easy, just measure and we'll cut a circle out. So I have marked out about where my vent needs to be. And luckily, I do have a big old 6-inch hole saw. So I'm gonna use that. To trace out my opening. And now I can cut it out with my jigsaw. Oop. Can't see where I'm going. Okay, let's try it. We can go take a break soon, Lee.
Yeah, when we're done with these.
Problemo.
What?
I put my trim up too high. I can't tuck it in there.
Oscillating?
Yep. I feel like I'm way out of the spot that I should be in.
Yeah.
Okay, it fits. It fits. Not bad. We're down to the last piece. Hopefully the wasps get out of here so they don't get trapped. I think we're done. I know it's a little thing, but I can't get over how good that looks. It's such a transformation finding closing up those eaves. And I just want to explain one thing before we move ahead to the siding, and that is why we use solid soffit. Some people might notice that we didn't use a vented soffit, and a lot of people believe that you need a vented roof or you're going to have problems. But that's not actually the case. The reason we didn't do a vented soffit down here is because we don't have a vented roof, and therefore there's no need for ventilation in the eaves. It's better to just close them up. That'll actually help protect the roof, because when you have vented soffits, it actually allows hot, humid air to enter into your building assembly, and that is actually can lead to moisture issues, mold in the roof. So it's better to close them off in our situation. Because this roof, you can see it right here, it connects to the main house roof. So it's like a transition, and then it goes up. And there's no ventilation out there. It's not like a peak where it has a ridge vent or anything like that. Inside the room inside here, we actually built an unvented attic assembly. Well, not even an attic, because it's just a ceiling. The roof is the ceiling. So it's just foam board insulation against the roof sheathing, and then mineral wool insulation underneath that to create a sealed insulated roof assembly. And that is one of the approved building science methods of insulating a roof, is just having the required amount of non-air permeable insulation, which stops condensation from forming, followed by air permeable insulation underneath it. You just have to look that up. It's different for different areas. So the point is, there's no need for ventilation here. And on this side, it's just our porch, and there's no insulation above it. It's all open, but again, it doesn't vent anywhere because of the way our attic is. It just stops at the house. So on all this side, we can close these off, and we're gonna do that all the way around our house, and it's totally fine. And since our house is older, we do have these gable vents, and that is how our attic vents. So we do have an attic in that section. So all that to say that it is intentional that we didn't install a vented eave, and that's perfectly fine, and it works good in this situation. So we're gonna start the siding. So, not exciting, quite boring actually, but we have to put this drip cap up. So that's what I'm doing now. I almost forgot, but even though we have a huge 20-inch overhang, we still require a drip cap above the window. Oops.
What?
I just knocked it out of place. Whatever, it's ugly, it'll work. So actually the window probably would have been more watertight and look better without the drip cap. Sometimes technicalities are a nuisance, but we got it. I'm gonna adjust my cut to account for that space now, and we'll get our panel cut.
Did you measure from the wrong side to draw that line?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's supposed to be...
Look how small this is.
Why?
Because we're supposed to measure from this side over.
Yeah, and you measured from here over. Ew. Maybe this part can be used under the window, at least.
I measured from the wrong side for the window, so I was supposed to measure from that side of the panel. I measured from this side. So this is completely wrong. Sometimes you get confused when your panel's like laying down because it's upside down. You're looking at the back of it and you're...
Okay, 3-inch you said.
I think the water is making this hard to mark. I think I got it right this time. Let's try again.
So now you're cutting out this part.
And you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but it's raining right now. Just started coming down. Okay. Now you'd think that we could just throw it up there and get moving on this project, but we actually have to take some time to prime the edges that we just cut, because with these OSB smart side panels, you should always seal your cuts. Prime the edges so that water can't get in and cause them to expand and blow out. And it's a lot easier to do it now than when you're butt up against all your trim work and can't get a brush in there. So we didn't show it, but trust us, we primed the edge. It's all sealed up. And now we have to get this on the wall without making too much of a mess with all the wet paint on it. Primer. Okay, right. Oh, I wasn't ready. It's okay. Does that look straight?
Oh, let me look.
It looks good.
Yeah.
The gap is okay.
Yeah, it looks great.
First panel up, pretty good. You know, I hate window flashing like that. Caulk is better. Anyway, I have to cut a piece below the window. Maybe we can use this mess up, just cut the bottom off and make use of it. So this is the bottom edge, and just for extra precaution, we're also priming the back side where it hangs down, because it hangs down past the house sheathing a little bit. And this way, if water ever rolled under or got on the back of it where it's exposed, it won't be able to soak in. It should make it last a lot longer. Sometimes little precautions like this will help a lot in making this last a long time. Let me just hit the bottom of this to make sure it's extra sealed. The factory primer isn't always that great. It's full of holes. Great. Do one right in the bottom somewhere. Go. We got all of our measurements. This is our last panel that we have, so no mess ups this time. 3 inches from here.
Dead?
Yep.
Well, I'll take them.
Well, batteries are dead. We're gonna look around, see if we can get another battery to finish this up. We're trying to hurry because we have plans today. We're gonna go out, do some thrift storing, look for some new puzzles, get some lunch, come home, and stay out of the heat for a little while. And I don't know if we'll get anything done this evening, but it's nice to take a break in the midday. Plus, I don't know what the weather is doing today because it keeps thundering and sprinkling. I found that battery, but it was 1 bar also. It's prime time again, so after we get this primed, we'll come back, we'll put it up. You see the sun's coming over, but this is our time that we work because you can see the line is cutting in closer and closer. Good thing we have these 20-inch eaves. And they came out good, don't they look good? Last one.
Nice. Well, it looks good so far. That's good.
Okay, so let's line up here. Let me just see what that looks like. Guys, this looks really good. My gaps are okay. It got tight as it went up on this side. Not a big deal. This trim might not be straight. I didn't put a level on it. Let's see if we can finish this off. Do a few pieces along the bottom. It's looking really good so far. So, surprisingly, we have these cutoffs from a different house, our mobile home project. These are cutoffs from the wall panels. And I think they are the perfect size without having to do anything to them. So just put them right here.
Besides priming.
Yeah. So, let us get these primed up and we'll be done in no time. Somehow I got this all dirty. Guys, don't worry. You won't see these nails once it's all painted. And you can see we have it primed on the bottom there. I don't know if you can see it. Brian?
Okay, now we're done with the...
Whoa, why do I keep getting these dirty?
I don't know.
Look at that. The house is coming together. I don't know, guys. Maybe we should have painted our house this color.
No.
Down here, you may notice that we stopped short of that little part. That's by design because I decided I was going to wrap the siding straight around, but I decided that right here I wanted something more durable because we're going to be putting steps there, and I just don't want this OSB siding being what the steps attach through and to, and where it gets the most abuse from feet and stuff. So I feel like I'm going to put a solid wood there, solid, heavy 2x6, which we have plenty of. So I'm going to put one of those there when I build the steps. So it'll be like part of the steps. It'll look totally fine. So that's why we're stopping the siding there. It'll just be stronger. And wow, it's just looking good. Now we have a lot of caulking to do. We have to caulk all the gaps. And that brings us to a question, a topic that I wanted to cover. And I said I would cover it at some point. So here it is. Some people like to put their siding on first, trim over the top. There's two installation methods though. You can do the siding first, trim over it, gives a clean finish, or you can do trim first, siding up to it. With this method, you just leave a gap, like an 1/8 inch to 3/16, not too big, but big enough that you can put caulk in there and you seal all the joints with siding sealant. It lasts a long time and it's a really good method. And that's the same procedure as if you were doing lap siding, because LP does make a lap siding, so it's like planks of wood that you overlap and you nail to the house. On a plank siding, you typically install the trim all first so that the planks can go in between it, because how do you really put trim on top of overlapping angled boards? It'd be all gappy and ugly and it just wouldn't work good. So picture your lap siding going between here and you caulk. Same exact process, we're just using flat siding. The reason I'm doing this is because of two things. One, if for some sick reason I ever had to replace these windows, all I'd have to do is pull the trim off and I can access the windows. I wouldn't have to destroy the siding. That's a good plus. The other thing is, these windows, the way they're installed, they're not very deep. And if I had the siding going under the trim would have pushed out past the window and there was more likeliness of water intrusion because now water drips out of the window and it goes on top of the trim. I'd rather have the trim under the window so that it's more protected. You know, it's just the placement of the trim. It also works good on spots like this where I don't want the trim out to the edge of this drip cap, this overlapping board. So it's better to just tuck everything in as tight as I can. That's why I'm doing it this way. There's no wrong way. Personal preference. This works for us, especially because I have solid sheathing to nail to. I have plywood sheathing under here. So if I don't hit a stud, it's not a big deal. That's plenty to hold this still. So there it is. And with that said, I think we're going to wrap it up because we accomplished the goal for today. Siding on the house, eaves done. Next.
Good.
I don't know what's next. We'll have to find out next time. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.